Okay, my question for you is, do you like carrot cake? Because if you do, you're in for a real treat. I was out at Nourish Sequim and I interviewed the owner, Tanya, and I'll share that in a minute. But before I get into the interview with her, I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. You know, and those thoughts are, yes, you get the link to the fabulous carrot cake below, but I thought when I slow down enough and I would take a bite of that carrot cake, all of a sudden I was flooded with all of these memories of my neighbor Helen. Helen died on her 80th birthday, right on the day. She was an amazing being, and one of the simple pleasures was she loved carrot cake. And it got me thinking that how many of us are just rushing through life, you know, and we just wolf down our food, and you know, to be able to take time to really enjoy the pleasures of this life while we're living it, it just seems like a good thing to do. So I wanted to share that. And then also, since I took the training from Jeffrey Smith from the Institute of Responsible Technology, I've been focusing more on GMOs and talking to people and realizing that most people don't think they're eating GMOs, but I'm telling myself, I'm telling other people, if we've ever eaten packaged food, if we've ever eaten fast food, if we've ever eaten at most of the restaurants, we have eaten genetically modified organisms. So it's important to find out the health risks and everything else that goes with GMOs and to educate ourselves. And then I'm also very grateful to have this restaurant in Sequim that I can go to, and I know that everything is organic up there. So here's the interview I'm doing with Tanya, and also I had this vegan dish that she's talking about here that I want to share with you as well. It's great to be able to go out to a restaurant as a vegan and not have a salad. You know, salads are great, but sometimes you just want the complex flavors and the multi-dimensional, you know, textures and all of that. So here's Tanya. Amazed by that. So was that your creation? Did you?
Well, it's an adaptation. I mean, I imagine we probably started with the recipe somewhere down the road, but we've added and adapted, and you know, we wanted to make sure that it had good texture, the moisture, and then a lot of nutrition. You know, it's got a lot in it. It's a lot of the base, I think, is mung beans, and we usually use lentils as well. And then it has a lot of vegetables, carrots and apple,
And they're all organic?
all organic, and non-GMO. We buy our beans from Bob's Red Mill because they guarantee that they're, you know, not genetically modified. Flavouring in it is a lot of fresh herbs. We use the nutritional yeast. Fun is, you know, we use it a lot when we're doing maybe a dinner where we're having perhaps meat and potatoes and vegetables, and we want everybody to have a similar experience of the food. So we simply replace it for the meat in the vegan meal, so that, you know, the same food energy is there. We tend to put the simpler recipes up that people are most likely to have success with. You know, so many of our recipes are kind of bulk, so to take them down to a smaller amount is more challenging. But that one is a beautifully simple recipe.
And it's totally delicious,
and I've had many
too.
people take the recipe, make it, and say, oh, you know, I made it at home just as good.
Right.
It's kind of, we don't want to have boring vegetarian or vegan food, because I always think that when people that don't want to eat meat go to a restaurant, they kind of get gypped, because it's usually, oh, well, there's a salad. So we've always wanted to have something that's more interesting and more creative and appealing and satisfying.